Okay. Bedtime read. I didn't do it so loud this time. Let's have a look. Read. Read. You see that? What does read mean? 1, 2, 7. Negative. The letter P. So if your name begins with the letter P, surname, first name, it may be important. The 12th moon. The tree is the reed, broom or fern. The place on the hand is the second joint of the middle finger, which is Scorpio. The glass, the colour glass green. The stone, clear green jasper. The bird is Nagai, the goose. The planet is Chiron, the healer. The musical note is E sharp. The goddess is Ceridon. The symbol, things of the sea. A broom, items made of reed. So seahorses, dolphins, shells. The word Ogham is wound, charm and healing. Healing, to use aid in healing issues. Balance and wellness, can be hormonal or emotional. The flower essence is rock rose, cherry plum and sweet chestnut. The broom is native to Great Britain and grows in abundance along the heath, moor and in open spaces. It is a small tree, rarely growing above 7 feet tall, and is thick and bushy. Its stems are long and thin and green, and from them spout an abundance of pod-shaped yellow flowers, which bloom in the summer. The broom is closely related to the gorse bush. Broom shares the Ogham letter negatal with reed. Broom is useful in cleaning up spiritual or mental messes. Well, that's been me today, a mental mess. It is used to correct or heal damage or injury. For instance, if you're having a negative thought, emotion or actions, use the broom to help rid yourself of them and think of the tree as a herald of new beginnings. So there we go, I'm sweeping it away, spirit. On the mundane level, the broom has many uses. One obvious use is making a besom. The decoration of besom is useful for decoction. So in other words, linctus of broom is used for gout, sciatica, painful joints, malaria and fever. But used with care, too large a dose can cause extreme bouts of vomiting. Reed is a symbol of royalty. It is a tree from which arrows are cut and is appropriate as a living sun. So the sun and the arrows and royalty all mentioned in today's read. A symbol of sovereignty, shooting off arrows in all directions. So Sagittarius also. Negatal represents a sense of established power. Carna reed is ready for cutting in November. Reed is the tallest of the grasses, so it's ready to cut away this month and is associated with water, so water signs. It has a long tradition as a wand of authority, which is a symbol of recorded time. Papyrus is made from reed. A broken reed is a broken promise and a loss of trust, and I've just spoke about trust in the I Ching reed. The seeping away of authority. The lunar cycle often includes Samhain. The reed is the sceptre of the queen, and the queen was spoken of today. I think our queen would be very disappointed in the world as it stands today. The reed is earthly power and authority. This is the moon of the home and hearth. It is also the winter moon and symbolises fertility, protection, love and family concerns. Exactly so is what the tarot said today. It is a tree of established power. Reed is ready to cut in November. The Egyptians' canna reed, which grows from thick roots like a tree, was an ancient symbol of royalty in the eastern Mediterranean. In Egypt, the reed was used to make scepters and arrows. Hence, the pharaohs of Egypt would shoot arrows in every direction to symbolize the sun. The Irish used the reed Witton rose for the thatching of roofs. A house was not complete or established until the roof was thatched. The dead stems rattled in the wind and are commonly referred to as a broom. One also thinks of Pan with the reed flute. The reed is often associated with male kingship. Set and Osiris fought over Isis and alternately killed each other. Reflecting the cycle of sacred kinship, the Egyptians' token of sovereignty was a scepter tipped with ass ears, which was broken upon Set's death. When ancient kings die or are sacrificed, the scepters were broken to show their loss of vitality and virility. The Celtic cycle of sacred kinship is reflected in the holly and the oak king's seasonal rule of the land. The month of Reed was the season of death to the Druids and the beginning of winter. It is the time of the holly king. The symbolism of the reed, rod and scepter are symbols of power and authority derived from ancient tree worship. With reed there is a union of complementary opposites. It is the roaring of the sea, the dynamism of which is forever steady. It is a subtle union of the conscious and unconscious realities existing side by side. It is a sign of the boundary between this realm and those beyond. This is a time of unity and purpose and will. What the reeds whisper. They say green parks are the lungs of cities, but marshes are the lungs of sea lands, shores, and my home, where water and earth intermingle. Moon cleanses the marshes with tides, beneath in rich silt, thick with reeds and grasses, tiny creatures breed and die, to feed the mollusks, fish, stalking. Herons, long-legged sandpipers, and us, the reeds stand with their feet in water and bend like brushed hair in the wind. There is a sound like dry flutes. Whispers at once intimate and ancient. It was the sea of reeds my ancestors crossed to freedom. Undergoing a sea change from slaves to a people. Hurricanes uproot trees, locusts, maples, even oaks, but reeds bow down, rise up. It is not our world, this marsh, resound with hidden burrowing. Life these reeds close around our canoe so that we are lost. 50 feet from landing, we rock gently in this unflowing sea. The reeds tame and drink. The name March and Percy are important. The term reed is used loosely in North America. The reed of the Ogham is a common reed. Phragmites australis cav trin ex strudel, excuse my pronunciation. It grows in marshy areas where it can form dense stands. Like most other grasses, the vertical stems live 1 year, dying in the autumn and then replaced with new green shoots in the spring. The dead stems rattle and whisper in the late autumn winds. Common reed has spread as a weed throughout the world. In North America, it is widespread in cooler climates. Common reed is the grass family. Guelder rose or water elder, no relation to the true elder, has the most beautiful cluster of translucent red berries during the late autumn, around the time of Samhain, making it a good substitute for tree for Neanderthal reed. The dead stems rattle and whisper in the late autumn winds. American counterparts, tules, California reeds. Tules are grasses like perennial herbs which grow abundantly along the marshy areas of California. The term tule is derived from the Aztec tulin or tolin, which describes a group of plants including the common cattail bushes and similar plants. The term was used similarly by the Spanish to designate any such marshland plant. Chul was widely used in California by the Indians to make shelter, boats, and sleeping or sitting mats. And for some groups, such as the Yokut-speaking population of the southern San Juan Valley, the roots were an important source of flour, and at least 2 nations used the chul for medicine. In post-contact time, the Chumash cured poison oak rashes by applying burned ashes of the plant. The Louisiano applied a plaster of the leaves on burns and wounds. In this month, the first of the year, Ogham sings, "I am a threatening noise of the sea, and I have been a wave breaking on the beach." When Ogham speaks of the waves breaking on the beach or threatening noise of the sea, we can hear that sound in our minds. It seems to echo in our memories as primitive and haunting. We can hear the waves pounding on the cliffs. The harshness of that pounding is amplified in the silence of winter. It is that pounding on the edge of change of which Ogham speaks, and it is the edge we now confront as we come to the end of the light half of the year, standing in the face of the darkness. Life and death, beginnings and endings, summer and winter, all alternating stages in the process of existence, are all necessary and complementary to each other. The interplay between each side affects everything. We associate darkness with death, and ocean waves crash against the cliff. They plunge to the depths of the sea in their cycle of return. We can view that cliff as a boundary between the light and the dark halves of the year. The noise of the sea, the crashing of the ocean wave against that edge, serves as a warning to us, reminding us that we must prepare for a change of season. So as we enter this cycle, we are brought to the awareness of coming change and warned to prepare. This means a letting go of some kind. It asks us to release our heightened energy, which has fueled us in our growth, to let go of our control as the ocean waves sink back into the depths of the ocean womb, awaiting rebirth at the proper time. This is something we experience every year at the same time. Every year we also see life triumph once more. This gives us a sense of trust in its cycle. We know that the absence of light will bring about a difference in our awareness, which will allow us to dive into the depths of our memories, causing us to reflect upon our feelings, thoughts, and actions. For surely without taking the time for processing and assimilating our past experience, how would we learn and grow, or move forward to any coming newness in our lives? As the moon waxes and the noise of the sea grows louder, alerting us that we are now approaching this boundary between the light and the dark, the boundary between life and death. With the full moon, we accept that we must release and let go of our desires to hold on to our energetic growth. And finally, as the moon wanes, we step forward into the heart of the darkness. Now we are prepared. We open ourselves to the experience of the dark. I am a sound of the sea, calmest cold of deepest deep, sinuous swishing of sea snake sidling, baleful bark of sorrowing seal, shrill shrieking of timorous tern, bounding breaker on ragged rock, on the earth, in the air, through the fire, by the water. I am Terror, the red moon's daughter. Sheridan, her name, has been translated both as cauldron or wisdom, and fortress or wisdom. Care means fortress. Seru means cauldron. The powers given to her show her nature as one filled with great wisdom, prophetic foresight, and magical shape-shifting abilities. The ancient Sheridan lived upon the island in a lake, a place well known as the land beneath the waves. She was thought to be all-powerful in magic, enchantment, and divination. She bore a son called Morfan. Because he was black like a raven, some called him Afagdu, saying that his darkness was ugly. Sheridan worried that his life would not be one of ease or pleasure, therefore she decided to give her son the gift of magical powers that she possessed, hoping to make his life easier. She prepared the cauldron, known as Ogham, and the cauldron of the deep, and she planned to give him 3 drops of the liquid, providing him with his birthright. She poured the water of prophecy and inspiration into the cauldron, carefully observing the movements of the moon, sun, and stars. So watch the astrology for the right moment. She was able to add all the ingredients at the proper time. As the cauldron brew began to boil, she made arrangement for the blind old man to keep the fire burning, and for a young boy named Gwion to stir her cauldron. 9 women stood by. These women were druids, who could take the form of animals and even blow the sea into a rage with their perfect poetry. They could heal all wounds and illness and foretell the events of the future. It was believed that these 9 women breathed magic upon the cauldron as it boiled for 1 year. So we may have to wait for a year. After a year and a day, the required time for the brewing, Sheridan placed young Morphin by the cauldron to receive his birthright. In her fatigue, she fell asleep, and while she was sleeping, Gwion pushed Morphin aside and took 3 drops of the brew on his hand and placed it in his mouth. At that moment, the water split the cauldron apart and poured out onto the ground. Now, this is much maligning Gwion in it, because we've had many different types of stories, and Gwion didn't shove anybody out the way. So we'll see, so don't believe everything you hear. It made quite a roar, and Sheridan woke up from her sleep and realised what had happened. She wanted to punish Gwion. Having gained great powers from the brew, he quickly changed himself into a hare and hopped off as fast as he could. So watch out for rabbits and hares. The year of the rabbit could be important. Sheridan, magically powerful as we know her to be, took the form of a greyhound. So dogs, the year of the dog or greyhound racing, and followed in quick pursuit. But just as she was about to catch him, he changed into a fish and slipped into the river, and Sheridan then became an otter and swam after him. Almost caught, he again changed his form. So now we know we've got something from the Native Americans for the otter. So what is that? I tell a lie, it's a beaver. So, oh no, the otter's there, sorry. The otter is January the 20th to February the 18th. So we are going through the cycles, aren't we, quite quickly. Almost caught, he again changed the form, this time to a bird, and flew off into the sky, but discovered Sheridan close upon him, having taken the shape of a hawk, which we know is Aries in Native American and can also be Scorpio. Now really, fearing for his life, Gwion saw a pile of wheat below him on the land and changed himself into one small grain and fell into the pile. But Sheridan's sharp eyes saw what he had done, and as a black crest hen, she picked at the grain and found and then ate the seed that had once been Gwion. So the year of the rooster is also important, and it seems some people never give up, so don't be surprised if maybe it's you that shouldn't give up. Now as a tiny seed took root within her womb and began to grow for 9 months, so we may have to wait 9 months. Sheridan said that one day that Gwion was reborn, she would destroy him. But when that day arrived, she relented. Instead, 2 days before the 1st of May, so what would that be? 30 days of September, April. So, 28th of April, she placed him in a sack and threw him in the raging water river. Well, if that wasn't trying to kill him, I don't know what was. Taliesin, thought to be the wisest of all Gaelic poets, claimed that he had been that Gwion, born of Sheridan's womb, and that he was fished from the river on Samhain. When the dead souls rise, he made it very clear that all his Celtic wisdom, poetry, magic and foresight, the riddles beneath which divine knowledge lies, had once been stolen from the cauldron of the ancient Sheridan. The powers of the sacred female were stolen, taken from her, and his powers came from her to the cauldron of magical inspiration. So someone may steal something from you. And did you see the Astral DJ? Somebody's car may have been stolen. I wonder who that. So let me know if you have had anything like that happen. So the bird is the goose. In Egyptian mythology, the earth god Geb, also called Seb or Keb, was sometimes depicted with a goose on his head. He was also described as a goose called the Great Cackler, whose female laid the egg each day from where the sun hatched, and the sun was thought to be reborn each morning. The goose was clearly a solar creature. As such, geese are still sacrificed at the turn of the year in some parts of northern Africa. In ancient Egypt, as well as in ancient China, the goose was considered a messenger between heaven and earth. Well, that's no way to treat a messenger, is it? In China, geese are still a symbol of marriage because of their lifelong pair bond. In the Roman Empire, the goose was the sacred animal of Juno, and Juno is one of the things on the high priestess's pillars, a goddess of light, marriage and childbirth, who was later considered advisor and protectress of the Roman people. A story tells of how geese saved the Romans from their warning cries when the Gauls attacked the citadel of the capital. The Celts associated the goose with war, possibly because its watchful nature and aggressive temperament. Warrior gods were sometimes depicted with geese as companions. Remains of geese have also been found in actual warrior gravesites. The Britons kept geese but did not eat them. They were, however, sometimes used as sacrificial offerings. The goose, with its steady, powerful flight and migratory habits, can be associated with travelling, undertaking a journey to a new destination. This journey will be difficult and may take a long time. The goose can help people find the perseverance needed to go on with their quest. In earlier times, shamans were aided by spirit geese on their journeys to the other worlds, so don't give up again. In modern shamanism, geese are also associated with communications, the ability to express oneself, especially through the use of stories. It is said that the goose, as a totem, signifies the importance of the childhood belief in stories and legendary places. Wow. The stories people like most are, as a child, might give insight into the pattern of their lives. Well, that would explain mine. As in the ancient mythology, geese in modern shamanism are still regarded as symbols of marriage, fidelity, and importance of a solid and happy home and family life. Some say a goose in a dream stands for silly behaviour, and a cackling goose for a person utterly idle chatter or possibly evil gossip. A goose laying an egg may symbolise a pleasant surprise or something new coming into your life. Flying along with a flock of geese while dreaming may signify a desire for more freedom or the need to undertake new actions, perhaps even a spiritual quest. Such a flight may also show you your ability to reach places you never thought yourself capable of. Physical properties of the green jasper. It's a member of the Chalcedony family, part of the quartz group. It is found in wide, deep shades of red, yellow, and green and brown. Mixtures of two or more colours are also sometimes seen. Jasper is hard. Its energies are subtle and work slowly over time. This quality ensures that you will not be overstimulated by jasper. Because of this, it is suggested that jasper be worn or carried for long periods of time, and many people carry or wear jasper daily. All colours of jasper are said to unify and balance all aspects of our lives. Its subtle energies can help restore a continuity of spirit and body that can improve both work and play. Jasper is said to aid the quickness of thought, allowing your mind to function with less distraction and more clarity. It's also said to help dispel negative energies and reduce stress. These qualities make jasper an excellent choice for executives and others in business world. The different colours of jasper are also said to have specific qualities of their own. Green jasper is said to help balance the factors in your life. Its subtle energies allow you to stop concentrating on one aspect of life at the expense of all others. It can serve to remind you that the whole is the result of many parts. Green jasper is especially beneficial to the heart and upper torso, the digestive tract, and the cleansing organs. Its energies work slowly over time to help restore harmony to these areas. So, I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for listening. Speak soon. Bye.